Well, welcome back, everybody. Now, you probably see myself, and like, you rarely see me because I'm usually the only guy on working the camera and everything. But this case in front of me is, I'm not sure who it's from. This is an iBuyPower computer. A customer brought it in and they do some video editing, and they didn't actually have time to come in or to any system builder. They thought they'd just go to Best Buy and buy a computer. They spent a lot of money. It's spec wise, I'm going to turn to it right now because the customer bought in the box, and spec wise it's the iBuyPower Trace 930 with RGB lightings. It's a gaming computer. It sports the i7 7700 quad core. This is not the K. It's got a I believe it's an MSI GTX 1060 3 gigs, 16 gigs of DDR4 from ADATA, an ADATA 120 gig SSD, and 1 terabyte hard drive. But basically, it's nice what you get, but it's not what I would have chosen for an editing computer, and that's what he does. And so he brought it in and he thought that, okay, let's update it with a Toshiba hard drive. So he brought in a 3 terabyte Toshiba hard drive, not knowing that a hard drive is much slower than an SSD. And I told him that we got to pick up a fast SSD for him. So basically, customer's gonna go pick up his own SSD. I told him to go pick up the Samsung 850 EVO if he's doing video editing, and we're going to install that, and we're going to transfer everything over to the new SSD. Comes to Windows 7, oh, I'm sorry, Windows 10 Home Premium. You know, I'm going to take off the side of the computer because, well, I'm not going to do it right now, but I will do it later. But it's basic fare, really generic motherboard, you know, not much room for expandability. It's just enough. And we're going to install a liquid cooler because the stock cooler is not going to cut it for hardcore rendering, which is what he's going to be doing. And so we're going to put in an old H60, but it's not old, it's brand new. It's just been on the shelf for a while in the shop here. So we're going to have that installed, and I'll get back to the final build afterwards. But I'll probably take video snippets, you know, here and there, you know, between the steps I'll take to you know, get this computer upgraded, since, like I said before in the previous video, a lot of you guys have been asking, you know, for that type of video where, you know, we go a little bit step by step, you know. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so we have the case apart. Well, at least now we know what the motherboard is. The motherboard is the Asus H1D-Plus. So basic board, not much, you know, to it. It's an ATX motherboard. Again, just 2 DIMMs of DDR4 RAM slots. It looks like a one PCI Express, one PC down 16. This 16X. I'm not sure if these are 16X each either. But then you have 3 PCI Legacy, which is a little bit odd. I'm not sure why there wasn't another PCI 16X down or 16X down here. Just might be bandwidth limitations and such, but basic fare. On the back of it, it's not that much better. I don't know, it looks like it has a serial port for some reason here, and it has PS2 ports for whatever reason. I'm really surprised to see 2 PS2 ports here, but really general basic connectivity. The case itself is fairly decent. It looks like there's actually cutouts in the front for, they look like 120 millimeter fans each, you know. It looks like they can handle 2. This looks like it's cut out for SSDs. I haven't measured it out yet, and looks like there's something cut out here, but I'm not sure what this is. Again, it has iBuyPower logo, but this case is definitely not from them. Turning it around, I did take a look at it on the back. It has some decent. So here's the back of the computer. So you get an ADATA SSD, and then it looks like you have a. This looks like a power distribution node here, and it looks like it's actually just. So this is very flimsy. I don't like this here. It can be damaged very easily. This looks like a for fan controllers or for the front panel. I'm not sure yet, but it says infrared port. Okay, So infrared port, this must be for the lighting kit. I don't have the remote control here. I just took off the back bracket here, and this is still hanging off here. So there's the cutout on the back, so we don't have to take the motherboard out to install the H50. The H50 should fit because the 1155, 1156, and 1151 basically use the same punch-out holes. The power supply, I'm not sure who it's from. It looks fairly generic. Not many wires, expansion wires at all, and so I might actually have to use a converter for this to get more, or to get the other SSD to mount on. And so so it is an SSD mount here. So basically, I see this bracket must come off, and then we mount the SSD on there, and then we just use this. We screw it down with this. So looks like the other side of the the other side of the desktop, right on top of where the PSU should be, like right there. Those are two more SSD mounts right there. And so I'm not sure where I'm going to mount the SSD. I may mount it in the front because the back looks pretty bad. And that USB dongle we have to take out and mount it in the front somewhere. More than likely, I'm not sure if the radiator will actually hit, if the radiator will fit in the back. It looks like it should. There's nothing that I see that will physically stop the radiator from fitting in the exhaust. I may mount it on top because we do have quite a bit of space up here, so I might mount the radiator on top here and then pull it over, but I'm afraid of it hitting the RAM because this RAM is actually raised up like that. So we'll have to see how that looks. Like I said, I might end up putting the radiator in the back just because the RAM clearance issues. We'll see what happens. Okay, I finally got the computer back together. The customer actually came in right when we opened, but unfortunately I couldn't get this thing to clone to the SSD correctly for a couple times, so it was a little bit delayed here. So basically I've got the entire computer set up finally. The case I'm not a big fan of. It looks nice with the side panel. I don't like the fact that there's no perforations in the front for a kind of air intake. Saying it's a gaming computer, I believe these light up. It's so I mean, some people might like it. This customer bought it for movie production, and my thoughts on the iBuyPower Trace 930 as a gaming computer. It's a very competent gaming computer for sure. Small SSD. It's fairly decent priced. If you're in an area where you don't have a system builder and you want a tricked out little computer for a gift, that's fine. Would I buy it for and use it as a movie production PC? Definitely not. Case is inadequate. It's not enough airflow. It has the cutouts for enough fans, but like I said, I am not a biggest fan of how the front is set up. I have actually used the old rear 120 millimeter fan, and I've put that in the front as an intake. I put in a new Sigmatech 120 millimeter fan on the bottom here, as you can see, to blow on the hard drives, which is behind this shroud here, and it only holds two 3.5 hard drives. I believe you can put more hard drives up here. That's what it looks like it's set up for, and some SSDs here. But how many SSDs are you going to raid together? I mean, I guess a lot if you had the money, but as sort of physical storage drives, there's as for a production computer, it's kind of like not enough, quite frankly. But otherwise, everything's fit in kind of. It seems like on this motherboard, the distance between the back and where the CPU is placed is a little bit shorter, so I had to orient the H60 in this manner to make it fit. I could have put it on top, but I really didn't want to. Actually, if I did, it would hit the RAM sticks, believe it or not. And so, like I said, this is a pre-built system, so we had to do what we had to do. I didn't do a push-pull configuration on this just because, quite frankly, the customer was on a certain budget. I told him about the benefits, but I also told him that more than likely, it's not going to be too much of a big difference. So if you wanted to in the future, we could do a push pull. But if you're wondering why I have it set up this way, this is actually the correct way to set up a 120 millimeter radiator cooler setup if you're not doing push pull, because basically you don't want to suck in hot air into the radiator. You want to pull in cold air from the outside onto the radiator, and this is the correct way of doing it. Let's boot it up. I've got the Samsung 850 put in there, and I'm gonna boot up the system. It boots up pretty quickly. So let's take a look at the I've already pressed the power button, but I didn't push it, but I didn't put in the, oh, there we go. There's the splash screen, and then the post screen, and we'll see a just let boot up right into Windows. So it's pretty quick. As you can see, we're already in the login screen, and it's just twisting around like that. But then we can. 850 EVO is awesome. The best SSD you can get right now. For the money. So it's pretty kick ass. But yeah, we can take a look at it. It's the system. I've optimized it. I turned off all those annoying settings Windows has, and basically it's all set up. It's Windows 7, or I'm sorry, Windows 10 Home Edition, and we have right now all I have to do is the Samsung 850 is the C drive now. The old Windows drive you see here is actually the original drive, and I'm going to format that right now because we don't need that anymore. So we're going to actually just format this drive, and we're going to use it as a SSD 2. That's what we're going to label it as SSD 2. And yeah, formatting will, yes, we know that will happen. So that's what we're going to do. Yes. No. Yes. Okay, so we're formatting it, and it should be all set after this format. And I'm also running on battery power. So what do you guys think of the computer? I think it retails for over $1,000. Can't recall. I don't know exactly. You'd have to check the prices. But in my opinion, it's fairly decent for the price. I mean, like I said, you're getting quite a bit for the money, but like I said, this customer just bought it for the wrong purposes, and right now we have it up to spec for a fairly decent editing computer. So any questions and comments, please post them at the bottom of the video. Thanks for watching, everybody.